Hey everyone, it's CJ, and welcome to another episode of Objection Celebrity Court Chatter. Today's episode is Sued and Subpoenaed. We have a great show that I put together for you guys today. We are going to be going over the Blake Lively subpoenas. Last night or yesterday, we got some more filings in the docket with the actual subpoenas from Google, X, and we found out that TikTok was subpoenaed as well. So we're going to go over that, and we're going to go over a brand new hot off the press lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. And of course, our show for today was on Ye. I keep calling him Kanye. I called him Kanye yesterday, but it is Ye now. So let me make sure that I keep it to Ye. And we're going to go over all his lawsuits and what's going on with him. So I brought on Leanne, our very own Leanne Newton. Leanne, how are you today?
I am okay, thank you. It's really noisy here with the kids, so I am sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. I love their little chipmunk voices, and I'm sure the chat can relate. You know, it's summer and all the little chipmunks running around. Um, so our favorite co-host, Leanne, is going to be with us today as we go over everything. Yesterday, the subpoena stuff came out. Leanne, you finally got the full subpoena, right?
I
You were trying
did.
to get a hold of it, messaged Ezra. Ezra never. You never heard from Ezra?
No, I never. Never.
So Laura's saying I'm a vampire now because shout out to Laura, our mod.
Mars.
She mods for she mods
Everyone.
for Lauren and Donna and pretty much all the channels. And so yeah, someone's like, are you getting any sleep? She's like, no, I'm a vampire now. But shout out to her for all her hard work modding all the channels and keeping everything in line. Good morning, Mia. Good morning,
Look,
at the beach. How are y'all? We'll let people start floating in here. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Blake Lively stuff since that's the tea right now is the subpoenas. I posted last night Kevin Fritz's letter. So Kevin Fritz yesterday filed because just to remind anyone who isn't following the Blake Lively saga, Blake Lively subpoenaed content creators, and then her law firm pretty much wrote a letter to the judge saying that they had their reasons for subpoena the content creators, but they couldn't, give the reasons because Tag had given them a list and the list was under attorney's eyes only, and so they were asking the judge to take away the designation of attorney's eyes only so that they were able to, I guess, defend themselves. But in a twist, it turns out that none of the uh, content creators that were subpoenaed were on the list. So we're not sure if they.
no, there was one. There was one.
Oh
But it
yes,
was,
okay, sorry about that. Yeah, there
but
was.
yeah, it was just like we got a comment. It wasn't that they were working together.
Yeah, that it was someone who had gotten a statement. And I believe my theory was that it might have been Andy because Andy did get a statement from Brian Friedman exclusively. And, Andy Senior, we're going to go over, he also got subpoenaed a third time, the trifecta. He calls it collecting Thanos rings. So he got subpoenaed through TikTok as well, although it wasn't his channel. So we're going to get into that. But he's a journalist in all sense of the word. He's got his own
Yeah.
media company and everything, and he's been working on a documentary about the It Ends with Us saga.
Yeah.
And so him getting a statement from Friedman is, not. Friedman knows how to play the social media game. Instead of giving the statement maybe to MSM, he might have wanted to give it to, someone in social media to where he was working with the social media content creators, which they're also journalists in that capacity. So it
Can
wasn't
I
anything this or anything like that.
can I
Um,
weigh in on that theory
yeah,
though?
yeah.
Because I actually and I was talking about this, and I was having a conversation with, I think it was Roman and Ludwig yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, it's because I got the statement and all that." No, I don't think it is. And my reason I don't think it's anything to do with the statement he got from Friedman is because he got that statement when Wayfarer didn't refile a second amended complaint, which was the 10th of July. Well, the subpoenas are dated, all of them are dated, apart from, I don't know about the personal one, but the subpoenas for all the content creators across the 3 platforms, they're all dated the 3rd of July, which is, a week before Andy got the statement.
Oh, so great eye there, Leanne. See, I don't notice stuff like that with the dates. That's super sleuthing right there. So it was 1 week before he got the statement. So it could have been
Yeah.
someone else or something else. Okay.
I think it's a documentary myself. I think she's desperate to find, because he's the one who's been, he talked to crew members and various things, and she's trying to get that same information from, do you remember the third party law firm who were investigating the complaints? So she's trying to get all that information in multiple ways, but Andy has obviously had these interviews with some cast/crew members for the documentary. So I think she's trying to get hold of that information.
Yeah, well, he got like a deeper subpoena than the Google subpoena, which was like on his person, which was like for a bunch of more evasive stuff. Go check out his channel, Popcorn Planet on YouTube. He went over, when he got subpoenaed and all that stuff, and all the crazy stuff they asked for. So I posted yesterday, breaking: Kevin Fritz with the killer read on Team Lively, stating that the recipients of the social media subpoenas were not on any list except for one. So one person was on that list, and that the public backlash has and always will be organic. Has and always will be organic. And so I had put 2 excerpts here where it says, the interrogatory responses list only a few content creators. The identified individuals are affiliated, or the remainder of the identified individuals are affiliated with mainstream media. The social media subpoenas, which is now what they're calling them in legal paperwork, DFJ has her nicknames, the Sweet 16 subpoenaed, and then the X20 and the TMZ3, but in legal docs, they're called the social media subpoenas.
And now we have the TikTok 7.
Oh, the TikTok 7. I forgot. Seek all account information, including phone number and financial information for specific content creators, only one of which is listed in the interrogatory responses. In other words, neither Tag nor its owner, Melissa Nathan, nor the interrogatory responses are the recent public backlash against Miss Lively, the cause of which appears to be the overbreadth of her social media subpoenas. So Zach yesterday on a TikTok or YouTube short, I don't remember which one, or both maybe, but at the very end, he states, when is she finally going to realize that the smear campaign is being done by her? And I really resonate with that. Zach Peters, if y'all don't follow him, just plain Zach. He's super funny in his little shorts and stuff. But yeah, he said, when is she going to realize it's her? So this is what Kevin Fritz is basically saying, the cause of which appears to be the overbreadth of her social media subpoenas. He's saying that's what's causing the backlash. It's nothing to do with a list that Tag provided or anything like that.
No. And I will say something about that as well, if that's okay, because this is a perfect moment for me to kind of say something.
Jump in.
As my name is, most of my name is on a subpoena list. First of all, kudos to Kevin Fritz, right, for writing 2 whole pages of, smackdown to Lively before ending it with, oh, by the way, we don't object, unseal it. That was masterful. But as someone whose name is, it's misspelled, but it is very clear, is it not, CJ? Now we've got a clear copy that was intended to be me. There's no doubt. So I have, and I will be going through it tonight. I will be talking about Kevin Fritz's letter and the various filings over the Satani Eyes thing. Then I will be reading my own. I have filed a motion to quash. And not only that, because she made a spelling mistake and there is absolutely nothing to stop her from going back to X, or from X saying, Miss Lively, we did a search for that account name, and this is because it literally only offers my account. So is this account you're looking for, or saying to her, go and check your spelling? There's nothing stopping her correcting that behind the scenes, because I would be out the loop of all of that, and then asking for my correct name. And I have filed for a protective order also to stop her from pursuing any of my information on any platform at all. But we'll be talking about that. Are you joining me for that, by the way?
Yeah, that's going to be at 2:30 Central Standard and 8:30 British Standard. I'm functioning on British time ever since me and Leanne are collabing. So I only talk in British time zone now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I will definitely join you for that. So it'll be you guys check out Leanne's channel. If Laura, you can pin that, the YouTube channel. It's at Leanne. It's a bunch of numbers. I always forget them, but Laura will pin it here. So check us out. She'll be reading the motion to quash. I'm sure there's going to be some snark because
There's a lot.
Snark. And Kevin Prince got a little snarky here too. It says, regardless of TAG's right to maintain the confidentiality of its proprietary business information without waiving its right of other Wayfair parties, and solely to foster the discovery of information that will further demonstrate that there is no orchestrated smear campaign. And then this is where he's like, snarky a little. The negative publicity surrounding Lively is purely organic. TAG agrees to remove the confidentiality and AEO from the interrogatories. So he's going to remove that, or TAG agrees to remove those attorneys' eyes only. And the list is only going to show one of the creators that were subpoenaed, and everyone else. There is still a question mark on why these subpoenas, who granted these, under what circumstances. It's still so many questions. And that's the thing with this case, and why the sleuth community really gathered around this case and why it grew so big, is because the way that they do things leaves so many questions. There's so much sleuthing to it, so many questions to answer, that people, this is people's Roman empires. Because I know last night I kept thinking, like, well, why are they, some people you might be able to be like, oh, well, maybe because they talked about Shapiro or they talked about this or whatever. But what was the main reason if it wasn't this list that they're saying it was? Loving Kevin Fritz. I like him too. I really like him. I like how Friedman writes, but I also like Fritz's writing too. It's really easy to read, both of them, for the layman. It says someone said that Ziggy here. Ziggy Investigates said that she believes one subpoena went to a minor. So that's kind of a rumor that's going around because of a comment in.
I looked into that. I did look into that, actually, CJ, if you wanted to.
Go ahead.
The account doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't exist. So I'm not inclined to believe that.
Okay, yeah, that was just a rumor going around from a comment. Nag pointed out this letter is Wayfair's way of supporting the content creators. Yeah, I feel like it did give some clarity, because for a couple days it caused chaos of, like, people were like, we're not on a list, and then the pro Blake people were like, you're on
the list.
And this is where he said it was on the list. And again, yesterday's episode, if y'all didn't watch my episode on Perez and Blake, Perez says how the language is just so, like, weird and you can't understand it, because that's how that one was, the tag letter, where it was like, wait, what are they saying? Are they saying that content creators are on the list? Because they use words like if the subpoenas were issued, and I'm like, what do you mean if the subpoenas were issued? Weren't subpoenas already issued? Like, it was really weird. So it wasn't clear what they were talking about, whether it was the content creator subpoenas or more subpoenas that were coming.
That was very strange, actually, because it was almost like they got plausible deniability there.
Yeah, Joe, we have to investigate if she has a brain. Allegedly, she's made of plastic. I mean, a lot of people are wondering why she's making these choices, because it's just like she's digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. As people start to forget about the case, I know Candace had moved on, and then she got subpoenaed and started covering it again. So these are just bad moves. And Mia, thank you for bringing this up as we go into the next segment. about the insurance company that's suing Justin. So this morning, a couple articles dropped from everyone's favorite, the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, who Deadline goes back and forth between pro Blake and pro Justin, but definitely the Hollywood Reporter is, I believe, pro Blake for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Hollywood Reporters first. We're going to go through both headlines this morning. So it says, it ends with us, insurer files lawsuit and says it doesn't have to pay Justin Baldoni's legal fees. The sprawling legal battle features deep pockets on both sides, with the billionaire founder of Paylocity backing Baldoni and Reynolds backing Blake Lively. So they're framing it as Reynolds being Lively's billionaire, which I don't even think Reynolds is a billionaire yet. I think he's still in the millions. I'm not sure. Maybe someone in the chat can, I don't know his net worth, can let me
He's
know.
in the very high millions. If it's still millions, he's not far off a billionaire himself.
It says, so this, initially my first thoughts with this was it reminded me of the Amber Heard insurance fiasco with her lawsuit. So me and DFJ were talking about it in another show where she was telling me that she was looking into her homeowners insurance because she was wondering, she's like, what do they cover, so some of these homeowners insurance or just insurance for different companies will cover stuff like litigation, like defamation and things like that. So this says Justin Baldoni and his production banner Wayfair could be on the hook for a steep legal bill to litigate allegations of sexual harassment on the set of It Ends With Us. Wayfair's insurance for the film, Harco National Insurance, filed a lawsuit in New York federal court on Monday seeking a court order that it has no duty to pay the legal fees for the production company or its officers. It says that the alleged misconduct occurred before the effective date of the policy and that it was not informed of Blake Lively's complaints, a precursor to the sprawling litigation, during the filming of the movie. The move adds another wrinkle to a labyrinth web of lawsuits over the shooting and public relations machinations behind It Ends With Us. Lively initiated the legal battle against Baldoni for obviously SH. We know this. It sparked a $400 million lawsuit. And it says he's represented by Brian Friedman, a prominent lawyer and bulldog negotiator known for aggressively litigating cases. So they said some good stuff about Brian Friedman there. Some of the moves he's made involve bringing a sister lawsuit against Wayfair's former publicist for a breach of contract and subpoenaing Taylor Swift, who he claimed was the target of extortion by Lively. According to Monday's complaint, Wayfair had two one-year-long policies that insured the production from July 2023 to 2025. While the lawsuit from Lively was filed in December 2024, she raised claims of the SH that allegedly occurred from April to June 2023, which is before the effective date of the policy. But see, this is where they're probably going to fight it in court because it was not a formal complaint, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
It was not a formal complaint. So I wonder, this is kind of a gray area here because
Oh, do you want me to help you a little bit?
is raising claims enough? Do you know, Leanne? Is it?
So for the insurance company, he hasn't gone through any formal process. I think they've jumped ahead a little bit here because if you look at the timing of the lawsuit was filed yesterday, but a lot of the legwork and the letters going back and forth actually started on the 23rd of June. And what's happened here is, so Wayfair's claims got dismissed on the 9th of June.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of citing now. Lively has not won her case. Let's not forget that. Yeah, that's still going on. So with where it differs from Amber Heard's situation, is that Amber Heard lost her case for defamation. Mm-hmm. So they were like, well, so her insurance company turned around and said, well, hold on a minute. You were found liable for defamation. You acted with actual malice. We don't cover that. Give us our money back. That's what happened there.
Also they were because her lawsuit involved the fact that she didn't use their lawyers and then wanted them to pay.
Yeah, there was that too. She didn't. So insurers will use approved contractors for whether it be lawyers or people who do repairs to your home, to your car. They have like a panel of approved specialists, which they've usually negotiated some kind of deal, reduce costs, etc. And she didn't do that. She unilaterally changed lawyers, which was probably one of the worst decisions she's made, because now not only is she on the hook for the fees, now the lawyers were actually awful at representing her. But that was in the case that had already got to judgment, and Amber Heard lost her case, so she was no longer entitled to be covered because the insurance policy.
55 is saying that it's not over yet. Like
No,
Amber
it's
Heard.
not over. No, that's still going on. I mean, she's now moved herself to Spain, so it's kind of different.
He's saying like, why is I'm not a bot 55 is saying why is Wayfair's insurance coming out so early with this? Is what you're trying to say,
Well,
right?
this is it. I think they've jumped the gun a bit here, because I think they've acted in the, like, the judge has probably said, well, this is plausible, that's possible, and the text messages show that some, this and that and the other. Wayfair haven't outright denied, well, yes, actually we said this, but what they're saying is, well, she's taken that completely out of context for many of the things.
Okay, so this is where it gets fishy, because it says the production company in July 24 submitted an application for renewal, which advised notice of any known circumstances that could result in legal claim. But by then, she had already said she wasn't going to do anything, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. She said she wasn't going to do anything formal. So at that point, then they can reasonably say, well, we didn't foresee this coming, actually. I do think that the catalyst for this actual lawsuit has been because the claim's been going on for like 7 months, and now they're only saying something like a couple of weeks ago. I think the catalyst has been that Wayfair got dismissed. And they're trying to point to that from because I read the filings on this yesterday. Of what's there. It's not much, but it was the whole complaint from the insurance company was very much, well, they got dismissed and the judge said this and the judge said that, and everything points to this and this, and that's not quite how that works, because yes, their claims got dismissed, but that's not a judgment. And Lively has not won hers. So I think they've gone too quickly, and I think that might be a problem for the insurance company.
Something to do with it, because it did come out as like Lively's getting heat, and then there's these 2 articles now that are.
Oh yeah, probably, yeah. I have no doubt, and she will lean in on it as well, like it's an amicus brief.
Because I want to deep dive in web sleuth into Harco. Who is Harco and who are their people and stuff? It says, despite this notice and despite the November 2023 demand and additional allegations of sexual harassment presented by Lively during a January 2024 meeting, Wayfair's renewal application advised Harco that there was no claim, notice of potential claim, or any situation that may give rise to a claim. But that's the thing. It was like, okay, if we're going by the November 2023, that demand letter was not about SH. That was just in lieu of a formal complaint of work, things that made her feel uncomfortable at work.
And I'll tell you what Wayfair can do here to help themselves, because they can't use this in the New York case against Lively, is to bring, that third-party investigator. All the stuff about that.
Oh, yeah.
The law firm that's investigating all her claims. Wayfair can use that to say, well, hold on a minute, she never made complaints, and by the way, we didn't sexually harass her. Here's the report from that investigation.
Yeah, so it says Wayfair didn't immediately respond to a request for comment, and it says they had a $2 million policy for its directors and officers and the same amount of coverage for its employment practices. It gave notice of Lively's lawsuit in April and asked for indemnity under the 2024 policy. Harco then denied the claim. In a June letter, it explained that there are circumstances that may wholly or partially limit coverage. So what exactly are they suing them for, since you read the paperwork? Because they haven't paid out anything, have they? Or they're suing them for not No,
they're looking for a default judgment. My guess is that they don't want to be sued. They don't want a claim. I couldn't see anything that suggested, there may be something there, but I haven't seen it. But I didn't see anything that suggested they'd already paid out on something.
Oh, they just want it declared that there's no duty to pay them. So that's all they're asking
Yeah,
for.
so they're looking for a declaratory judgment, which I think is basically them saying, can we please have a court order that says we don't have to pay this, we're absolved of any liability here.
Let me check the chat real quick and see what they're saying.
I'm sorry about the noise, everyone. It's school holidays and I have a dog who barks.
Oh no, he's a little cutie. I heard his little barks. It says insurance companies. It's pretty common for insurers to push back, but we just never hear about it. So yeah, maybe they made headlines because someone leaked it, or who's bringing margaritas and nachos? It's only a Tuesday. It's summer though, so I don't know. Did I miss it?
When I looked on the docket, when I looked on Pacer at this insurance company, I can't tell you how many pages and pages and pages there are of lawsuits involving them where they're actually the plaintiff. Loads.
Harlow?
Yeah.
Ooh, tea.
There is. I'm not paying Pacer to go look through them, but it's going to be the same stuff. It's going to be, well, we're an insurance company. How can we get out of paying here?
Laura, it's 5:42 p.m. somewhere. It's almost 5 over in British time, right? It's 2:30.
No, it's not even 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, margaritas and nachos sounds delish, though. Sounds like very summery, very like let's go poolside. It says Heard's lawyers paid out much more than required and in turn are coming back to recoup even now. So they're basically not trying to do that. Like they don't want to pay out first. So all they're asking for is, so that they don't have to pay. But I was interested to see how Deadline covered it because these are the only two. Excuse me. These are the only two outlets that wrote about it. So they're just saying the company provided liability insurance as early as May. So it's pretty much the same thing there. It's saying, here they have quoted from the warranty. It is agreed that if such knowledge or information exists, any claim arising therefrom, whether or not disclosed herein, is excluded from the proposed coverage. But see, this is where definitions of claim. What is a claim? Is a claim a formal filing? Can a claim be verbal? What is a claim? That's the thing.
It's normally formal because if a claim is exactly that, you're claiming something, whether it be damages or restraining order or but a complaint is raising an issue.
Because up here,
and I know we use the word complaint, the term complaint, as to describe the lawsuit and the initial complaint, the counter complaint, etc. But claim is not the same. It's not something that's used interchangeably.
Yeah. So right here, though, it says the insurance is intended has any knowledge or information of any act, error, omission, fact, or circumstance which may give rise to a claim, which may fall into the employment. So she did in that one letter say, remember when she kept like hanging the like I won't file a claim if you sign this, like, so I don't know, this right here makes me think maybe they do have a case because it's saying that it may rise to a claim unless they felt like it wasn't going to rise to a claim anymore because they had taken care of it.
I don't think they've got a claim. I don't, because the 17-point list was attached with a caveat of, well, I'm not going to pursue anything, just, put these things in place. And none of that is sexual harassment.
There was a line in the 17-point list that said, but without giving up my, future whatever for litigation. There was a line at the bottom of that email. I remember that it was like, without, giving up future legal something.
I think that's for the retaliation, though. I think because that was part of it. Because if you listen to the way they word that exclusion clause, it sounds very much like Lively's point 10 of that 17-point list of,
because I remember reading,
if you pull a face or change the tone of your voice, then I'm going to consider that retaliation.
Oh, that part. No, I remember reading the email. It was an email from, I believe, not Ezra, but it was the other lawyers that she has, where it said something where I was like, well, what? That sounds like a threat. Like, no matter what, they were screwed. Because I remember when I read it, it was kind of like, You either agree to this list, or we can, file something formally, but we also don't waive our rights to file something in the future.
Yeah,
So
no, that was definitely there, but that's not the insurance company. But she's saving her rights, not the insurance company rights. But also, there's a load of red lines missing there because it sounds like Wayfarer tried to negotiate with her lawyers, and that just didn't happen. We got the middle bit between the back and forth, because there would have been a back and forth. There would have been, a copy of the document. Wayfarer would have done red lines on it, which is, we've seen that before as well, where
mhm,
you strike out something, and
mhm.
then put a proposed change to the words or the terminology. All of that is missing.
Yeah.
So without a complete communication trail, it's hard to know what was agreed and what was, like,
Yeah, that's true.
refused.
'Cause we don't see that part. We only see the one email where they, message back like, "This is not a negotiation. Like, this is the start of like what you want to do. Like, you sign it as is, or we file formal complaints." So this was just a short article, so they didn't like go for the jugular here or try to be snarky or anything. But it's North Carolina-based Harco, so Leanne says that they have some lawsuits themselves, so that's pretty interesting. I missed this slide with Andy. I just wanted to share it real quick.
Um,
Um, when he
do you
got
want
sued. Go ahead.
do you want some tea live here now?
Oh yeah, is something going on?
Yeah, you remember I emailed Ezra Hudson on Friday and said, did you intend for this to come to me? It's
Mhm.
missing a digit. Is it for me, or am I okay? I've just had a reply. Yes, I was intended. That was my subpoena.
Oh wow. And what did she write? Was that it?
Um,
You should live read it on our 2:30 show. The
do you know what?
suspense.
I will do that actually, because yeah, no, that's clarified. That is mine, and now they're aware that I am aware of that as well. I'm glad I filed my motion to quash. But
And
yes,
it
it's
hasn't been
definitely me.
adopted yet, right? The motion to quash.
Yeah. Well, that went in yesterday. That went in half an hour before Fritz's letter. Otherwise, I would have attached that.
It says everyone should be outraged by this. It's invasive, and everyone has the right to free speech. This is nuts. What the judge and her attorneys are allowing, and yeah, that's how everybody feels that it's a little bit overreaching. So confirmation here live on Objection Crime Chatter. We get the hot tea. Our very own Leanne got confirmation from Ezra. And I forgot to pull this slide up with Andy because I thought it was really funny. I wanted to include it. Blake Lively's lawyers try to subpoena me on TikTok too, but they go after an account that steals my content. How dumb are they? Actually, at Blake Lively, I support this one. Do let me know who's behind this so I can finally shut them down for copyright infringement. So technically, he wasn't really subpoenaed, but this account pretending to be him, Popcorn
Yeah.
Planet Show, and I don't even know what is this image. Like, is this AI of Andy or what? Like, I don't know. Who is
I
this guy?
didn't think that looked like Andy at all, to be honest. But
Yeah, I was just like, who is that guy? But basically, it's his content that's being stolen, and then here's the username and what they were asking for. The TikTok subpoenas also asked for phone numbers, physical addresses, so it seems like they just copied and pasted all of them.
mm,
Because TikTok doesn't even ask for a physical address in order to get an account. That makes sense with like Google, YouTube, or whatever, because you have to put in your like credit card information, I guess. But maybe with TikTok, when you get paid, you also have to put in an address and stuff. But yeah, it was basically the same request for productions as the Twitter subpoenas or X subpoenas and the Google subpoenas. So we are going to move into Yay, which isn't as spicy, but there is a little bit of spice. Some new updates with Yay and his lawsuits and stuff. We're going to start with. Hold on, let me pull this up. Joe, we think that's a rumor because the account didn't exist. Joe, I think you missed it up above. Maybe you came in late. Um, but yeah, we think that's a rumor. Let me share screen. So this is my like I love this about this one case. So Ye was being sued by a PR girl, and Milo, who is the chief operating officer of his company, of Ye's company, he wrote this, which is so crazy. It's a cool little story, so I'm just going to read it. It said, "Once upon a time last year, a PR girl with a black scent and a room full of polyester wigs decided she was owed millions of dollars because Ye had fired her rudely and in a group chat. Well, I didn't agree. So after we'd both left the company, and come to find out that he didn't leave actually to leave, he left for this, like, long con. While her absurd and dishonest lawsuit was marinating in the cauldron, I spent a year convincing her that we were besties." This is Milo. And he's controversial in himself. Like, if you guys know who he is, he's he's got some controversies around him. But he says, "I spent a year convincing her we were besties. I smiled at her Thanksgiving anecdotes, nodded as she told me her hopes and dreams, gave deliberately terrible legal advice, and even learned the names of her nieces and nephews." This part got me, the nieces and nephews part. I was like, what? "She hatched a scheme to retire off of Ye and was so giddy at the prospect that she didn't pay too much attention to the details I proposed or the 11-page Yeezy confidentiality agreement she cheerfully signed in front of me after 6 months of bragging that she had evaded our NDA. It almost felt rude to interrupt her. She was on such a diabolical roll. This morning, her dream came to a shattering end when she read for the first time the name of Yeezy's lead witness against her in the case, Milo Yiannopoulos. She is, how do I put this delicately, fucked beyond belief, for reasons best revealed in court pleadings, which of course they will be, because our entire friendship, and here's the gag, our entire friendship was a fiction designed to delay and defang a baseless, shameless, revolting stab at extortion. And well, goodness me, Twitter friends, you can't imagine the source of remorse I'm feeling right now about, or feeling right about now, for misleading the poor girl and for what a terrible state it has left her bogus claims in. You actually can't, as in literally, it's not possible. This time last week, she was planning how to spend Ye's millions, convinced she was on course for a 7-figure score. How sad. A bee tried, Yeezy till I died. So I was so gagged when I read this because I was like, did he literally befriend her for a whole year? Like, incognito, long con, learn the names of nieces and nephews. Like, chat, how do we feel about the long con in order to um testify against her? I mean, like, that's a employee. No, the chat is quiet over there. Are y'all just gagged and that's why it's quiet? But Leanne, I know we kind of went
Yeah.
over it a little bit, but I don't think we ever went through the whole story. Um,
No.
what do you think about that? So this is one of the lawsuits against Jane Doe, his assistant.
Oh, is this the dentist? This isn't the dentist one.
Yes, we're gonna get into the dentist lawsuit, but this is his assistant had sued him, um, and Milo went undercover to basically prove that she was just after him for money, and I guess he gathered a bunch of evidence. So he just submitted his declaration to the courts, and this is still pending. This was in February of 2025 when he filed this. um so we're going to keep an eye on what's coming from this lawsuit. There's I believe this is the same Jane Doe lawsuit that is talked about here. Hold on. Which is that he tried to defend himself. This was in June. Artistic expression defense won't get Yee out of harassment lawsuit. But this might be another assistant. I'm not sure. It says Yee repeatedly texted slurs against this assistant marketing specialist. Oh, so this is a marketing specialist. So this is someone else. The controversial rapper argues he was just making art. So this is now his second one. Any words on the Milo one before we move on to the other one?
No. It's
Avocado's like, I have no words. It's
But
just
yeah,
so,
I literally have no words.
it was
What's the
just
world coming to?
like, Cyan is still on Blake Lively because she keeps subpoena everyone till March 26th. We figured it out yesterday. I think the cutoff date is August 15th. Cyan. So no, she'll eventually stop. She'll have her subpoena summer, and that'll be it. Um, so yeah, this is another one with the marketing specialist. that he was trying to get out of it by saying that it was artistry. It says the controversial rapper has argued that his numerous anti-Semitic and misogynist texts to that person were somehow protected artistic expression. But Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Teresa Traber tentatively denied Ye's anti-slap motion to strike discrimination, harassment, retaliation, and other claims from the plaintiff, a Jewish woman who is only identified as Jane Doe in court filings. That woman says she was fired by Ye last year after she complained about his behavior. So I wonder if it is the same person, because this is Jane Doe too, but the other one said assistant. But it's almost the same circumstances that was fired as well. Ye's arguments that the communications were protected speech was frivolous, Traber ruled. She said Doe's attorneys were entitled to recover their fees from Ye for having to fight that motion. And then she wrote, what is most astounding and frivolous is to say that firing this person is artistic expression. The judge didn't issue a final ruling at the end of the hearing. Instead, she took the motion under submission and made her decision would be forthcoming. It says Ye's attorney, Andrew Shirkowski, told the judge that he thought she was biased for not considering evidence of Ye's status as a cultural icon as put forth by Milo Yiannopoulos. Ye was and remains in a constant state of performance and artistic creation. So this is where he's arguing that everything he says and does is just a form of performance art. And once that excuse, I feel like, when was this one? No, this is recent. This is July. A couple days ago. So this one is recent because I was like, did he do the dentist excuse before the artistic expression excuse? Because a lot of people think that the dentist lawsuit was so that he wouldn't be held accountable. So it says it goes into like the things that he texted and all that. Doe's attorney went on to say, Ye waged a relentless and deliberate campaign of anti-Semitism and misogyny against my client. His appalling treatment of women and fixation on Nazism is evident in abusive texts where he repeatedly would call himself, Hitler, expose his motives, and we need to stop excusing Ye's behavior. Well, Ye was trying to excuse his behavior with hold on, let me pull that one up, with the lawsuit to his dentist. Hold on, did I close that window? I might have closed it. Did I close oh no, here it is. It's Milo who shared it. So he was in May. So this lawsuit is one we're keeping an eye on because he filed a letter of intent against his dentist, basically saying that he was giving him nitrous oxide and that was what was altering his personality. And that he basically got him addicted to nitrous oxide, where he was bringing containers to his home and stuff, and then trying to get him to sign over Yeezy stock and stuff like that, like his company over to him. This is the dentist here. And this is all allegedly. And a lot of people speculated that this lawsuit was to get out of all his other lawsuits to say like he was under the influence of nitrous. So I wonder if because he has 90 days. He filed a letter of intent in May. So June, July, August. So coming up here will be the 90-day period where he has to actually file the lawsuit. So this is not yet a lawsuit that he has filed. He can be performative, but I just cannot watch or support him in any way. Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's getting a little ridiculous on, what he's using to like excuse himself from his behavior. So this is one of the things that he has said that sorry, I'm reading the comments at the same time. Not a fan of him too. Yeah, so he's got so many lawsuits. He had lawsuits from his school. Remember you guys when he had Donda Academy? He ended up settling. He might have a future lawsuit from the concert company we're going to get into. But yeah, he's the person that's going to be feeding me for lawsuit content for a while because he's got so many. This is the dentist one, so I'm just going to go over the letter of intent. It says, please be advised that this firm represents Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, and his wife, Bianca Sensory. So it's him and his wife. in connection with serious injuries and damages arising from the dental treatment and related services you provided to Ye from 2024 into 2025. This letter constitutes a formal notice of intent to initiate litigation pursuant to California Code of Civil Procedure 364. Our clients intend to file a lawsuit against you for medical malpractice, professional negligence, and related tortious and contractual violations stemming from your treatment of Ye. As detailed below, your conduct fell egregiously below the applicable standards of care and violated both your legal duties and professional obligations, causing a substantial harm to our clients. We also hereby demand preservation of all relevant evidence and outline certain pre-litigation demands. So it goes on to say that Yi became a patient in early 2024 for cosmetic dental care. If you guys don't know, he basically got all his teeth pulled out and got like a grill, you know, like how rappers use the grills, but it was a titanium full grill, a custom titanium crown, and other cosmetic treatments. Throughout this period, you, as a licensed medical provider, were entrusted with Ye's dental health and well-being. Evidence shows that during this time, when Ye was under your care, you engaged in numerous inappropriate and dangerous practices that were outside the bounds of any legitimate medical purposes. These actions were not isolated incidents, but rather part of a pattern of improper conduct by you from 2024 to 2025 while Ye was your patient. Miss Sensory, as Ye's spouse, was a witness to and was impacted by these events, some of which took place in their shared residence. Milo, who ran this, had already whistleblowed, and the letter goes on. It's a pretty long letter. I'm not going to read all of it, but he had already whistleblowed on what was going on, and he had posted last year in 2024 pictures of the giant nitrous oxide tanks being wheeled in by the dentist into his house, into the penthouse that him and Bianca shared. So a lot of people are theorizing that the dentist lawsuit or the letter of intent came from, him wanting to not have liability for all these other lawsuits, because he's claiming brain damage. He's claiming, I think, let me look at this second part of the letter. I'm pretty sure it's in here. Psychological and emotional trauma. He's endured significant chemical dependency, neurological effects, exacerbated pre-existing conditions. He suffered severe worsening of his mental health, increased confusion, mood instability, anxiety, and depression. It doesn't say anything about him acting like Hitler because of it, though. So I don't know if that's not encompassed in this, but yeah, so then he goes to financial harm and stuff. But I remember that it specifically was like he had gotten brain damage from it. So I'm wondering if this will be a proper defense. Or a resident lawyer, Leanne, is this a proper defense against those other lawsuits, you think?
Possibly. I don't know. It depends how, because using mental health as a defense is it's a high bar. And he's not struck me as someone who is so affected that he could be rendered kind of, incapable of his own thoughts and decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But is that just me? I mean, I don't want to, I'm not an expert. I don't know much about him.
Just opinions for entertainment purposes. Where's my little ticker?
Yeah, please put that on. I don't feel safe.
For entertainment purposes, allegedly, like, seriously, don't sue me or Leanne.
For me. Already got a subpoena.
I'm like, unless Milo, don't come and become my friend.
I mean, from a legal standard, I mean, I know less about it in America, I'll be honest, but obviously we have a similar thing here, where kind of diminished responsibility is a defense. I don't get that with him, though, because he's a successful businessman.
Mm-hmm.
I know he posts outlandish posts. Is that mental health, or is he just, like, it got extreme views?
Well, it looks like in the one lawsuit, he's claiming artistic expression. And then he's also claiming that he had neurological damage, and so it could be that. So it's unclear whether it's performance art or if the nitrous altered his brain to where he's not thinking straight. I know in the early days he wasn't as controversial, so it could have been the nitrous, but I believe in like the 2022s, 2023s, he was a little controversial. He's got the whole George Bush didn't like black people or whatever it was he said on the stage back then that a lot of people thought was controversial. So I don't know if it is the oxide. Let's see. Ye is troubled. He needs help. For years, he has needed help. He has gone off Delulu tangents for years. In my opinion, he's bipolar and doesn't take his meds, allegedly. But yeah, he did at one point say he was bipolar, but then he said he was misdiagnosed. So as of recent, he said he's not bipolar and that he was misdiagnosed. It says he did have a serious accident decades ago, didn't he? Yes, through the wire and all that. He did. He was in a bad car accident and then his jaw got wired shut. And that's when he made the album, which was phenomenal. I mean, his early artistry is phenomenal. But what the rhetoric he's spat out lately is problematic for sure. So we're going to go into the most recent lawsuit that just dropped. It was an amended lawsuit July 10th, so last week sometime. He's accused now of sexual battery and trafficking by the former assistant. So this was a lawsuit that was made in 2024, so a year ago, that now was amended. And this was literally a little bit after the Diddy trial ended. It says Kanye West has been accused of sexual battery and sex trafficking in a new amended complaint filed by his former assistant. So this is another assistant. So there's an assistant, a marketing specialist. It's hard to keep track. Lauren Piscata, who started working for West in 2021 as an A&R during the making of his album Donda and eventually became his personal assistant, previously had sued the rapper for wrongful termination. So yeah, see, that seems to be the pattern. Everyone's like wrongful termination when they get fired. And SH in June 2024. Now, in a second amended complaint obtained by Variety, she's alleged that he orally RA'd her without her consent and coerced her into complying with his demands by making false promises about the advancement of her career. And it's very Diddy coded. The courts are this is what Yeezy's spokesperson said, the courts are no place to indulge delusions and mental disturbances. We stand ready to annihilate Miss Piscata's tall tales before a jury. An exoneration so inevitable that even if she lost in her fog of fantasy, must surely see it coming. Or even if she lost in her fog of fantasy, must surely see it coming. The full list of accusations is an updated complaint include hostile work environment, SH, assault, battery, sexual battery, trafficking, failure to prevent harassment, discrimination and retaliation, gender discrimination, stalking, false imprisonment, promissory estoppel, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. So she claims in her filing that when she tried to move, that he found out where she lived and would do like swat her and her kids, and would it's giving like Damore Hadley and the whole Rock Nation thing. If y'all haven't seen that episode, it's in my live videos, where the CEO of Rock Nation surveilled her daughter, moved in across the street so she could surveil them, and it got pretty crazy. It says Yee subjected Miss Piscata to obscene comments about her body, sent her sexually explicit pictures on one occasion. Yeah, so it gets pretty. I don't want to get into like the nitty gritty, but it alleges that trafficking occurred because he would recruit and entice plaintiff by making fraudulent promises of career advancement in exchange for the acquiescence to Yee's sexual contact, and he used force and coercion. Piscata's lawyers allege that he continued with his advances after he continued to refuse she continued to refuse his advances, and then he terminated her in the fall of 2023. However, even after she was fired, so here's where it goes into it. West moved into the same apartment complex that she was in, forcibly grabbing her by the throat. After she moved to Florida, so she moved to a different state to escape him, the complaint alleges that West harassed her by falsely reporting non-existing emergencies and incidents, as well as requesting bogus services and deliveries to her residence. So he was like sending pizzas to her house. I don't know. Swatting, it says it's a process called swatting. He would include reports of child abuse and murder against her, and Piscata was not able to predict when and if law enforcement agencies would show up to her residence. So according to her, he pretty much terrorized her. So this was, just filed. This is his newest. Who is Phineas Gage Ironrod? I don't know who that is. Phineas Gage.
What?
You know who that is? He's a modern Phineas.
No, it sounds like something I would probably buy on an X-rated shopping centre.
Phineas Gage Iron.
Doesn't it sound like that's a great marketing name? I have no idea.
Who's
I hope it's
Phineas?
not a real person who I've upset.
Who's Phineas? It's funny because Colonel just had a corn star on her channel named Celtic Iron, so it could be a corn star name.
Do you
So
want
yeah, so that's where we're at with Ye. Um, he might have some more lawsuits coming from his fans because the most recent thing about a couple days ago, angry Kanye West fans chant for refunds at chaotic Shanghai show, stating it's the worst concert ever. So basically, he put on a concert. He's basically been banned from all the venues here in the U.S. because of his anti-Semitic remarks. And see, they still refer to him as Kanye here. Oh, they do say he goes by Ye. So he went and put on a concert. There was a slew of technical problems. At one point, he just left the stage and it was just music playing. He lip synced about 20% of the time. It says the user said, "You should not tour. It's not for you. Stick to the studio and drop surprise albums. You waste people's time and money by pretending that you're a performer." So he basically said he didn't perform at all. He was in the back. And I guess some of them have gotten upset enough to demand refunds. But get this, the company that was sponsoring the tour has gone MIA, and the rest of his Shanghai concerts have been canceled. So this could be another lawsuit. I guess they would sue what the sponsor company.
Yeah.
But I don't know how maybe the company would sue him. I don't know how that would work. He's already had trouble when he canceled another tour, but right here, Stellar Amber Group wrote on China's social media platform Weibo that not all visuals could be executed as planned, blaming heavy rainfall for the show's disappointing production. But since this article was published, the most recent thing is that they've disappeared. It was on X this morning that the company has disappeared. So here's all the fans in line waiting for the show and stuff. But yeah, so that's the stuff on oh, did my computer freeze up? That's the stuff on Ye. I had one more slide I wanted to share with y'all. Ye needs therapy or psychiatric help. He has claimed to have bipolar. Yeah. Alyssa, he did claim that the bipolar was misdiagnosed recently, and that he was autistic. So that's what he ended up saying. He's like, I was misdiagnosed bipolar. I was actually autistic. It isn't it. It says, Elizabeth, he's a well guy who had an injury to the brain but survived with a complete change of character. Laura, let's see what her opinion. I think what happened to Ye is what happened to Brittany. I think it was also did a story on it. Look into it. Okay, I'm gonna look into it. Yeah, but it is when they get, because he was put on lithium. Remember, Harvey, and this is all allegedly. He had the trainer Pastor Nick. Candace went down the rabbit hole of Pastor Nick and how that he may have been hospitalized when they were talking about how he was bipolar and all that stuff. And I believe he did get put on lithium for the bipolar, and that in large quantities can affect the brain, because a lot of people say that that's what affected Brittany, was the lithium and the large doses of lithium. So it could be. I'm gonna look into NT. I don't know who that creator is, but maybe you can message me on X so I could check that out. Let me just do this last slide, because Scooter Braun is in everything. I didn't know that he was a client of, or that Ye was one of his clients, and so he recently made a statement on Scooter Braun, or on Ye. This was July 20th, so a couple days ago he was on a podcast, and he says, "Take scathing jab at former client Kanye West over anti-Semitic remarks. I don't know him anymore." And so this goes to one of our listeners who I just posted in the chat, who was saying that he's an entirely different person. It says, "I don't know him anymore. I think the person that I knew wasn't someone who would say those things. I think sometimes the hardest thing to do about someone you care about is mourn them while they are still here," he said. He went further on to say that, "For me, the person that I knew is not the person that I'm seeing. So I don't have a relationship with him anymore. When asked if West could be reached, the executive responded, "I don't know. I don't know him. And I think right now, I have 3 beautiful kids that need a dad to focus on them and make sure they're prepared and strong in this world. And that's going to be my focus," referring to his 3 children. So he's like, "I ain't got time to baby and try to bring back Ye. I got, I'm a dad. I'd rather stand proudly with who I am and who my people are and be gracious and kind to all people than to be a part of all that." The entrepreneur explained that while he doesn't have any ill will towards the gold digger rapper, he has no interest in turning into it says no interest in turning into the monster that people with anti-Semitic views expect. "I'd rather be someone who's focused on positivity and being proud of who I am and who my grandparents were." Reps for West weren't immediately available for comment. Braun added that he had no regrets managing those he represented and saying that he loved his life. So he was basically saying, I don't regret it, but I don't condone it. Ye did say on X in May, "I am done with anti-Semitism. I love all people. God forgive me for the pain I've caused." And he hasn't talked about anything anti-Semitic since, but he hasn't been on X since May, I believe, since that statement. I haven't seen anything. NT is entertainment lawyer. Okay, thank you. I'll have to check him out. Crazy Days and Nights, blind items. Okay, I'll have to check them out. Thank you so much. At the Beach. It was a very interesting show. I hope I did put on a good show for y'all. We covered a lot. And as always, it was a good statement from Scooter. Nice job. Always enjoy listening to you. Thank you. We enjoy having y'all here, and we have a good crowd. Please make sure when you leave the stream, if you can leave me a comment. I'm really trying to get my, algo boost, and that really helps when you comment after you leave. And you guys, I'm getting closer. I was at 2,000 hours to get monetized, and then I was at 1326, and then I'm at 1,100 now. So we're getting there. Only 1,000 hours left. So hopefully this content calendar helps me get there. And I'm enjoying hanging out with y'all in the mornings. I'm gonna go ahead because I know that Ashley, Brianna, Eve may be on next. I'm Laura. I want to figure out how to do the thing that Lauren does, where we send people to the other one. It's like a link or something. So I want to figure that out so I can send after my morning show, because I believe Ashley comes on after me. Don't forget to check out Leanne this afternoon. Me and Leanne.
Yes.
Be on at 2:30 CST. Check her X. We'll probably post it there. I'll repost it on my channel. And let's hop over there after this. Yes, Joe, that's where I'm going, to Ashley's after this. We're gonna leave with DFJ's song. Did y'all know DFJ made an AI song? I had missed this one. It's called Docket Heartbreak. Y'all know we always leave with the lawsuit song. So I'm gonna play this before we go out. Here we go.
Judge Lyman, he should have recused. He is bending over for lively. He wants Team Truth to lose. Judge conflicts of interest, financially invested in Blake and Ryan. His brother works with Blake. He doesn't care about her lying or her whiny lawyers crying. Judge Lyman playing fast and loose. So appeal is the only way. Lyman has rigged the game. His glaring errors shocked lawyers everywhere when he dismissed the defamation claims. Judge is playing Russian roulette with justice. Hey Lyman, Ryan called Justin a predator during filming. How is it safe to assume he believed his wife? You think he sent her to work daily with the predator? Or did he not believe her? Or they made it up to get rid of him? That is malice. Docket heartbreak, break. I have docket heartbreak.
So she wrote that after the amended complaint, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Judge Lehman, I don't. These are just opinions only. I was like, I played the wrong part, but thank you, CJ and Leanne. Yeah, so I was like, oh, Judge Lehman, don't come at me. I don't want no subpoenas. That was DFJ's song right after she had Docket Heartbreak, because it was right after the motion to dismiss got filed, and she was like, no Second Amendment complaint. So we're looking forward to Leanne tonight. Thank you, everybody. Leanne, thanks again for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for asking me.
We will see you guys on Leanne's stream, and then join me tonight. We are going to be going over the case of which case am I doing on Crime Chatter? Let me think. Oh, Donna Adelson, who was a mom who helped her allegedly helped her daughter unalive her husband. And so we're going to be going over the Donna Adelson case tonight at 8 Eastern on my channel, and then catch me with Leanne at 2:30. Appreciate y'all. Take care.